Hello students. So Uma Mishra again, and I am continuing with the capacitors. Now in the last lecture I had said that when a dielectric is placed in the electric field, it gets polarized, and then we had also studied the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor in presence of a dielectric slab and a conducting slab. Now what happens if the dielectric is placed in the external electric field? It gets polarized. Now suppose we keep on increasing the strength of the electric field, then what will happen? Well, if the field strength continues to increase, then the electrons may get detached from the parent atoms of the dielectric, and if this happens, then the dielectric will start behaving like a conductor because the charges will become free. That means a breakdown of the dielectric will take place. So the maximum electric field that can be applied across a dielectric without causing its breakdown is called the dielectric strength. Now coming back to the energy stored if a number of capacitors are connected in series or in parallel. Let us see what is the relation between the energy stored in the equivalent capacitor and the energy stored in the individual capacitors. Now let me imagine a number of capacitors connected in series and say Cs is the equivalent capacitor, and let Us be the electrostatic energy stored in the equivalent capacitor of a series combination. So we know that the energy can be written as either half Cv square or half Qv or Q square by 2C. Now in series combination, since Q remains constant, so I have chosen this expression for the energy, and electrostatic energy in the equivalent capacitance is written as Us equal to Q square by 2Cs, and then I have substituted for 1 by Cs. And what do I get? It is Q square by 2C1 plus Q square by 2C2 plus Q square by 2C3 and so on. That means it is nothing but the algebraic sum of the energies of each capacitor. The energy stored in the equivalent capacitor is nothing but the algebraic sum of the energy stored in each capacitor. Similarly, if the capacitors are connected in parallel, let Cp be the equivalent capacitance and let Up be the energy stored in the equivalent capacitor. Here we know that in parallel combination the potential difference across each capacitor remains the same. So I have chosen the expression half Cv square, and I have substituted for Cp. So it becomes half V square C1 plus C2 plus C3 and so on, and so once again you get the energy in the equivalent capacitor is nothing but the algebraic sum of the energy stored in each capacitor. So whether the capacitors are connected in series or in parallel is immaterial. The total energy stored in the equivalent capacitor is always the algebraic sum of the electrostatic energy of each capacitor. Now let me come to a very common conceptual question regarding the parallel plate capacitors. Now suppose we have a parallel plate capacitor of capacitance C, and it is connected to a battery, it is being charged by a battery. Now suppose the question says that the battery is removed. Well, if you remove the charging battery, then naturally the charge on the plate remains constant, because we know that Q is proportional to V. So once the charging battery has been removed, whatever charge was stored in the capacitor, it becomes a constant. And then after the removal of the charging battery, let a dielectric slab of constant K be introduced between the plates. So let us see how the capacitance is going to change, effect on the capacitance. Now we have derived the expression for the capacitance in presence of dielectric twice, and we know that once a dielectric is introduced, the capacitance is going to increase. So if C dash is the capacitance in presence of the dielectric, it is going to increase by K times. Now let us see what will be the effect on the potential difference. Now we know the expression Q is equal to CV. So V is nothing but Q by C. If V dash is the potential difference in presence of dielectric, you can write it as Q upon C dash, and this is Q by K into C. And what is K by C? Well, Q by C. Well, this Q by C is nothing but the original potential difference V, so it is V by K. That means the potential difference has reduced. Then effect on electric field. The electric field in absence of dielectric is sigma by epsilon naught. If the dielectric is introduced, E dash is equal to sigma by epsilon. I haven't made any substitution, different notation for sigma because the charge is constant, so the charge density will also be constant. But instead of epsilon naught, we have written here epsilon, the permittivity of the medium, and we know that the dielectric constant K is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. So we will replace epsilon by K into epsilon naught, and so this is sigma divided by K into epsilon naught. Sigma by epsilon naught is the original electric field, so the electric field also reduces. Now the effect on the energy. The expression for energy, I have chosen the Q square by 2C expression because Q is constant and C is changing, so this is more convenient expression. And the energy in presence of dielectric, let it be U dash, so U dash is equal to Q square by 2C dash, and we have substituted for C, and you look, Q square by 2C is the energy in absence of dielectric, which is U, and so it is U by K. That means the energy also reduces. Maybe in the question it is given that the battery remains connected and a dielectric slab is introduced. Well, if the battery remains connected, then it means that the potential difference remains connected. So now let us see what is the effect on the capacitance. Whether the battery is connected or disconnected is immaterial. The capacitance is going to increase if a dielectric is introduced. So C dash is again equal to K into C. Then let us see what is the effect on charge and charge density. Well, Q is equal to CV. V is constant, but C has changed. So Q dash is equal to C dash into V. And we have substituted for C dash as K into C. So the charge increases K times. And then the surface charge density. Well, the surface charge density is sigma, and sigma we know it is equal to the charge by area of the plate of the capacitor. So once the dielectric is introduced, the area of the plate is not going to change. Only the charge is changing. So sigma dash is equal to Q dash by A. Substitute for Q dash K into Q, and Q by A is the initial charge density, so the charge density also increases. Then we come to effect on electric field. E dash will be equal to sigma dash by epsilon. This is the charge density in presence of the dielectric, and this is the permittivity of the medium. So we will substitute for surface charge density sigma dash. Sigma dash is equal to K into sigma, and this is divided by epsilon naught into K. We have substituted for permittivity of the medium also. And look, it is sigma by epsilon naught, that means the original E. So if a dielectric is introduced but the charging battery remains connected, then the electric field is also not going to change because the potential difference is constant. Then effect on energy. Well, U dash is the energy in presence of dielectric, so it is half C dash V square, and this is equal to half V square, and I have substituted for C dash, it is K into C. Half CV square is the initial energy in absence of dielectric, so the energy has increased K times. So what we see is there is a variation. There is a difference how the energy is changing in presence of dielectric when the battery remains connected or disconnected. So we have to remember only two important things. When the question reads that a dielectric is introduced when the charging battery is removed, then what we have to recall? We have to recall that the charge on the parallel plate capacitor will remain constant. There will be no change once the charging battery is removed. And if the question says that the charging battery is connected, then what will remain constant? The potential difference will remain constant. Now, we come to another expression, the common potential. Now, I have considered here two conductors of carrying different charge. One is having a charge Q1, the other is Q2, and suppose they are connected through a thin wire of negligible resistance. Well, what will happen? Now, we know that the charge will move from high potential to low potential, and it will continue to move till the potential of each conductor becomes same. Similar phenomena happens if we have two capacitors, two parallel plate capacitors, one having a charge Q1, potential difference V1, capacity C1, the other having charge Q2, potential difference V2 and capacity C2. And now we are going to connect these two capacitors in parallel. Now, as soon as we connect them in parallel, charge will start moving from the high potential part to the low potential till the potential difference of each capacitor becomes same. If Q1 and Q2 were the charges on the capacitors when they were not connected, and Q1 dash and Q2 dash are the charge after they attain the same potential, then the sum of the initial charge, that is Q1 plus Q2, will be equal to Q1 dash plus Q2 dash, because we know that charge is conserved in nature. And what will be the expression for the common potential? Well, it is total charge by total capacity. So, the total charge Q1 plus Q2 by C1 plus C2. You can replace Q1 as C1 V1 and Q2 as C2 V2. So, this is also the expression for the common potential. And if the question reads that one of the capacitor is uncharged, then Q2 is 0. Suppose I take the second one as uncharged, then Q2 will be 0. Obviously, V2 will also be 0. So, the common potential will be C1 V1 by C1 plus C2. C2 cannot be 0 because it is the capacity and it depends upon the dimensions of the conductor. So, what happens actually when the charge is being redistributed on the plates of the capacitor? That is, sharing of charge is taking place. Well, there is a loss of energy. Let us see what is the amount of energy which is lost in the form of heat. Now, energy before sharing of the charge, this is half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square. Energy after sharing, half C1 plus C2 V square. And I have substituted for V as C1 V1 plus C2 V2 by C1 plus C2. And you can see, to find the loss in energy, I have taken the difference of the initial and final energies, and after you substitute and you solve, the final expression on which we arrive is, it is equal to C1 C2 V1 minus V2 whole square by 2 C1 plus C2. This is a positive quantity because capacity is positive and whole square is also a positive. That means initial energy is always greater than final energy. So, there is always a loss of energy whenever two capacitors are connected having different potentials and they share charge till their potential becomes equal. Thank you.